She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart, a very first sight should rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
Well, hey, y'all. Thanks for tuning into the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. This is Ashley Feller. I'm a third-generation Panama City native, and I'm also a local musician. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Independence Day weekend. This week, I'll be sharing the happenings in historic St. Andrews for the upcoming week of July 1st through the 7th. Then also this week, we've got an interview with Tony Simmons. He's the editor of The Entertainer, which is in the Panama City News Herald, and he's also the author of several novels. And with him today is Jayson Kretzer, who is the executive director of Center for the Arts in Downtown Panama City. So if you've seen the Ninja Bear, which is in Downtown Panama City on the Welcome Wall, that's Jayson's creation. They met with me at Floriopolis last week to discuss creativity and their love of St. Andrews, as well as Tony's newest release, and that's called Weird War I. What are your plans this weekend? Are you picnicking with your tribe? Are you going to the beach? Are you having a backyard barbecue? Or are you staying in the AC? The Panama City Publishing Company enjoyed a picnic way back in 1928, and it was hosted by none other than Mrs. West, who was the editor and co-operator of the St. Andrews Bay News. I read they had an explosive time. Stay tuned to find out more about that. No doubt about it, it is so hot out there. So make sure you got you a cold beer, or perhaps even a nice glass of sweet tea, and y'all enjoy the show. According to the Weather Channel, there is a possibility for scattered thunderstorms this 4th of July weekend, and we could expect to see temperatures to range from the mid-80s to the mid-70s. But as locals, we know that Florida weather changes by the hour. So I'm hoping there will be some breaks in the storms so that y'all can visit St. Andrews and enjoy your weekend. Fortunately, many of the businesses have inside sections. Tonight, Thursday, July 1st, there's free yoga with Amanda at beautiful Jezebel Park at sunset, and this is every Thursday night starting at 6:30. Then after you're all relaxed and limber, there's singer-songwriter open mic night, which is hosted by Stephen Myers at the library from 6 to 10. Stephen provides the back line, you bring the songs. This is every Thursday evening. Then you've got the Salty Sunset Market, located at the corner of 11th and Beck, and this market is brought to you by the St. Andrews Waterfront Partnership, and this is every Thursday through September from 4 to 9. The Salty Sunset Market features handmade crafts, art pieces created by locals, and sometimes local music. Have you seen all the amazing button artwork at Gypsy Beach? Tonight, Thursday, they are having an event called Thirsty Thursday Beer, Buttons, and Beads from 6 to 8 p.m. This event is $40 and all supplies are included. Not sure about the beer? Call Kathy at 904-451-3071 to register. You never know, there might be a space available. Friday, there's some great live music in St. Andrews. Scratch 2020 is at the House of Bourbon starting at 8 p.m. And the Lucky Strike Retros will be at the Little Village in Finns on Friday, July 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. And y'all are in for a treat. The Lucky Strike Retros is a blues and a blues rock revival band from Santa Rosa Beach, and they play tunes from ZZ Top, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, to Gary Moore, and also Stevie Ray Vaughan. For those of you who are always shouting, "Free Bird!" I believe it's actually on their set list. The market at St. Andrews is every Saturday in the lot next to the shrimp boat beginning at 8 a.m. There are a number of fantastic arts and crafts vendors, food trucks, and live music brought to you by Floriopolis that begins at 10 a.m. I believe this week the featured musician is Mark Knaps. Then Saturday evening is Hank Barbie and the Dust Parade. Do not miss this. I repeat, do not miss this. Hank Barbie and the Dust Parade are fantastic. The Dust Parade is a genre-bending original music group born from the sandy beaches and river towns of eastern North Carolina. Since forming in 2017, they play a unique brand of surfy, jazz rock, and bluesy soul rhythms set to life over inclusive and socially conscious songwriting. The band is in the early stages of compiling a resume for bigger things to come and are collectively evolving a sound indigenous to our times and to their geography. This is a rare opportunity, folks. They only play in this area maybe once or twice a year, so I strongly encourage you to gather up your salty friends and arrive at Little Village early to grab your seat so you don't miss the show. Sunday, of course, is Independence Day. Little Village now has brunch starting at 11, and this week the music is brought to you by Arlie Scarborough. I recently saw Arlie at an open mic, and I love her repertoire and her voice. If you enjoy music from the 40s and 50s, then you should go support her. She's a youngin', just getting her feet wet, playing live, and I believe this is the time musicians need the support the most. Sunday evening is the Salute to Freedom in downtown Panama City, but I'm more than willing to bet that you can see the fireworks display from Beach Drive, or maybe even the St. Andrews Marina. The fireworks display begins at 9 p.m. And then on Monday, it's time for Monday Night Little Fest, hosted by Kirk and Cheyenne. This is a weekly showcase of local songwriters, and it begins at 6 p.m. in the courtyard of the tap room. The tap room also features 54 beers, and it's just the place to chase away the Monday blues. Every Wednesday is Comedy Open Mic at the library. This is a free event hosted by Panama City Comedy, Jason Hedden, and Destination Panama City, and it starts at 8 p.m. The new fence exhibit is up. The current theme is reptiles and amphibians, and the pieces were painted by Floriopolis volunteer artists. Some of the artists include Jim Hayton, Silas Dyer, Kelly Dyer, Krista Eggleston, Heather Parker, and more. If you are interested in creating art for the next exhibit, I encourage you to come to Floriopolis, located at 1131 Beck Avenue, for public art hours starting at noon every Wednesday. Floriopolis supplies the canvas and paint, and you create your own piece for the fence. The upcoming theme is boats and water. That's all the community events I've got for this week. Tune in next week for more, and everyone have a safe and wonderful, salty Independence Day weekend. One of the best things about St. Andrews is that you can see live music every day. That's right, there is live music being played somewhere in St. Andrews 7 nights a week. Fortunately, my friend Ken Schaefer creates and publishes a weekly schedule for St. Andrews as well as most of Bay County. Ken's spreadsheet schedule is updated often when there's any changes. Ken also shares individual music events and is walking the walk and talking the talk when it comes to supporting live music. Not only does Ken supply the music schedules, but he attends several music performances a week and takes fantastic photos of the musicians. As a working musician myself, I feel blessed to have Ken and his wife Donna as treasured members of our local musical family. Make sure you like and follow Ken's page, Salty Sounds in St. Andrews, and Oh Boy Music on Facebook, so that you'll always know where all the live music will happen. Thank you so much, Ken, for everything you do. Tony Simmons is a native of Northwest Florida. He is a content producer and editor for the News Herald, where he has garnered numerous awards for his features and columns. He edited 2 volumes of the official literary anthology of Panama City Centennial, as well as 2 volumes of the Floriopolis Literary Anthology. His short stories and pop culture essays have appeared in several anthologies, and he's here today to talk to us about his most recent science fiction release, which is called Weird War I. We've also got Jayson Kretzer, who is a professional cartoonist and designer for more than 20 years, and recently became the executive director of the Bay Arts Alliance in Panama City, Florida. And their mission is making art accessible for all in the community, regardless of location or income barriers. If you've been downtown to Panama City lately, you've probably seen Jason's contribution to the Welcome Wall. It's a ninja bear and can't be missed for its unique spirit and vibrant colors. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Jayson. How did each of you start your art journey, and what led you to where you are now?
Starting my art journey, it was only a few years ago that I actually thought of myself as an artist at all. I thought of myself as a writer, but writing was a craft to me. It was something that I think I had some innate qualities that lent to that, but it could be learned, it can be taught. And I think whenever you possibly break past what can be learned and taught, that's when you enter into being an artist. And I began to think of myself that way only just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I was fortunate because I just went in and I just never stopped drawing. Like I was drawing in kindergarten and I just kept drawing and didn't stop. I feel like a lot of times what we do is we stop And I speak at a lot of schools, and the kids, I always tell the story, but it's so unique. It's so interesting to me to see how when you talk to an elementary level child and you say, can you draw? They almost always say yes. Of course they can draw. I mean, who can't draw?
Who can't do that?
And by the time they hit middle school and high school, they start getting put in categories like maybe you're an artist and you're not an artist. And so it's sad when I ask that question at middle and high school level. You always get like one kid raise his hand. And a lot of people point at that kid. Yep, he's the artist. But my art journey is really my creative journey. So even when I wasn't drawing, I was playing music or I was making up games. Like, I think it's all creative and all part of our journey.
We all find our ways to shine our creative lights. Are the two of you planning any kind of collaboration projects anytime in the near future?
Oh,
You never stop. What do you call it? Scheming, I guess?
yeah. Collaborations, man. That's it's funny when you think about some of the people that you feel like you're the closest to, and you think back, and I don't remember when we met. I don't remember how our lives intersected. It just seems like Jason's always been here. It's strange, but it's that way for me anyway. I can generally never put my finger on that kind of thing, but ever since we've been talking about one type of collaboration or another. And a few years ago, we got together with a couple of our friends and put together the Adventures in the Arcane anthologies. And he's done covers for my books. He's done interior illustrations. I'm looking at one over your shoulder, Captain Gideon Argo and the Flying Zombies. He did the cover for that. He did interior illustrations for that. We are collaborating right now by a book project I'm working on, the fourth book in my Caliban series. I brought two characters he created and that were in the earlier Adventures in the Arcane anthologies, Dominic and Mia. I brought them into that story with his blessing.
Wow.
Because I'll write a scene and I'll go, okay, Jason, does this work? Is this the way they're supposed to talk? Is this something that they would know? And he'll send me notes back.
And I just get excited to see it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, Tony, he's a creative writer. To me, I don't think of Tony as just a writer. When I read his work, I've always been intrigued by his use of language. So I was super honored that he even used my characters. But our collaborations can be as simple as we meet for coffee or lunch, and we're always talking about what could be. We've dreamed about opening businesses and continuing our group, the Syndicate, which I think was a successful venture, but thanks to Hurricane Michael and COVID, I feel like it fizzled down a little bit.
Going to take over the world.
I like how you called it scheming, because that's how I feel when I have a couple folks that I turn to as well when I'm coming up with something, and they turn to me, and it's this mutual exchange. Although we might not be working on the same project at the same time, it's comforting and it's inspiring to have someone who could say, I don't know about that direction you're going there, or that's great, either way. Jason, what was it like to contribute to the Welcome Wall in downtown Panama City? What was that journey like?
So it was very scary, but once I got past that, it was quite an honor. Dixie Clough and I worked together on this project to build this wall of 8 local artists with all diverse styles and things, and it was great. And Dixie looked at me and she's like, you have to do one of them. And I was like, no, I do not either. But I'm so glad she did talk me into it, and working with the other artists who I have just a ton of respect for. Every artist on that wall, all those artists have been in the community for at least 8 years. They all have these styles that are instantly recognizable when you see it. So just to be in that group was an honor. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Super excited.
So what particularly inspired the Ninja Bear? Of all things you could have painted on that wall, why the Ninja Bear?
Before you answer that,
Yes.
Everybody listening, think of what a ninja bear would be. And you're exactly right.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, now you can answer.
Ninja Bear came from my all-ages superhero action comedy comic, which is a mouthful, Wannabe Heroes. And when I was creating that comic, it was about a group of, for lack of a better word, losers who came together to find an ultimate purpose of trying to be a hero, and not necessarily a superhero in the traditional sense, but just small things like keeping their community safe from bullies and things like that. And so each one of those characters, they're all human. And Ninja Bear was the fun thing that kind of came from a nickname from a friend of mine that everybody called him Whoopee Bear. And we joked with him a lot about him also trying to be a ninja, or he was into martial arts. And guys, we joked back and forth. But for some reason, it just stuck in my head, a bear and a ninja. And it came out, I worked on him so long ago that when Kung Fu Panda came out, I knew they stole that idea from me.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But I wanted to put something on that wall that was full of color, that was welcoming, and I see Ninja Bear as a protector. I see Ninja Bear as a type of character that just, he loves everybody and is just happy to be part of the team.
That's a great message, and it definitely stands out from the rest of the murals. I love all the murals that are currently there, but that one, there's something about the colors that you can't miss it. And Tony, how was your journey writing Weird War I? Is that a series, and will there be more?
Yes and yes. The journey to Weird War I is pretty long and complicated, but it starts with us, me and my buddies, sitting around a table at the St. Andrew's Coffee House scheming. Decided to do an anthology, and then what are we going to do? What's the subject matter going to be? And I don't know if I had undue influence at the table, but I think I twisted a couple of arms and we ended up doing a concept that was close to my heart, which is pulp adventure in the style of Doc Savage and The Shadow from back in the 30s. Two of us were not able to go back in time. They set theirs in modern day. But my idea was Gideon Argo, who is a World War I veteran and had gathered a group of adventurers together around him to go out and fight evil wherever they found it. The stuff that other people couldn't stand up against, they would stand together. And through several short stories, a novella or two, and a novel, and the collection you have there, available at Floriopolis and at the Panama City Center for the Arts, by the way. Anyway, decided to go back and tell how they all found each other during World War I. And the paranormal aspect of it is what turned it into Weird War. There will be more. My next Gideon Argo is probably at least a year out, because I'm just finishing up my fourth Caliban cycle novel. But my plan is to tell the story of Weird War II.
Awesome. And would you say that there's any kind of an underlying theme across the series?
Yes. I don't think that I start with a theme. I think a theme develops out of the story. And if there's a theme to these stories, it's that people should stand together to face down the darkness in the world, and whether that's whatever form that takes.
That's a wonderful message. And so what do each of you wish that the public knew about being a creative person here in Bay County?
That it's so easy. You guys are laughing.
No, that's really the answer. If you have a creative desire, there are so many different places to go to find ways to express that, from whether it's just to go hang out at the Center for the Arts or Floriopolis, meet people that are being creative. When I walked into Floriopolis in its new incarnation, one of the first things is the shelf full of tools, just things you can make stuff with. And this is a working gallery and studio and a welcoming space. Center for the Arts is another good example of that, with classes, with events that are going on. There's music being played down at the little village. There's now a gallery night that's going to be happening over at the tap room. Stuff this is going on all the time in St. Andrews and in downtown Panama City. All you got to do is look for it.
Yeah, and I jokingly say it's so easy, but honestly, what I really wish everybody knew is that they're not alone in wanting to be creative. There's a lot of us out there, and just if there was a way that we could just tell everybody that we're welcome, we welcome it, that Floriopolis is a welcoming place, the Center for the Arts is a welcoming place. That's what I wish I could get across to every person, because everybody's creative in some way.
Or whether you're painting on a wall or painting on a rock to hide around town like Floriopolis has done in the past, or taking a class, or writing a short story, or singing a song.
Absolutely. People, they even drive their cars creatively around here. No,
Oh, yeah.
They park
Creatively.
outside the lines.
it's going back to the same question is, what do each of you love about St. Andrews, if y'all could elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, for me, it's the vibe. I love the vibe that St. Andrews has. It's so unique. I have a heavy involvement in downtown because we manage the Center for the Arts, but we want to be throughout the county. What I would like to see is each area in the county have a different vibe, and St. Andrews has just been intentional in creating that unique vibe, and I absolutely love it.
Wherever you go in St. Andrews, there's going to be something funky to see or interesting to do or listen to or a person to meet.
For sure. We definitely have some salty characters here. I ask this to all my guests who are creative people. What are your creative intentions for the next month?
My creative intentions for the next month are to edit the heck out of this book that I just wrote the words "the end" and hopefully prepare it for publishing sometime in the fall. Meanwhile, I'm still writing. I'm writing a short story right now, and that's just the way my brain works. It doesn't stop. Sometimes it gets more difficult than others to actually get it from the brain onto the page. But
yeah, and congratulations. Anybody that ever has written a novel knows how rewarding it is to write. All those people know better than me. I've never done that. My creative intentions, we're doing a lot of long-range planning right now. We're talking about bringing a creative conference back, Creative Con, as we know. I'm working on my story as well. I've just got to join the writing critique group of Tony and Mark Boss and those guys, the Cheshires. I'm super pumped to be a part of that.
That's cool.
So we're doing that, and I just finished a sketch card contract for Ultraman, which is a classic show that used to come on, and so they've asked me to...
Alien giant robot, yeah.
They've asked me to come back for the second series, so I'll probably be getting into that next month. So a lot of stuff, fun stuff coming.
Is there anything new on the horizon for each of you coming up in the near future?
There's always something new. There's always something new coming down the pipe. We are wrapping up our phase 1 of the mural project, and we're looking to start phase 2 of our public art and mural project. So I've got meetings all over the county because we focus heavily on downtown. Now we're hoping to spread that love throughout the whole community. So more of that on that side. With the Ninja Bear being put on the wall and the excitement that people have showed me, it's got me inspired. So I'm going to dig back into the Wannabe Heroes comic and hopefully within the next few months get something
That's awesome.
put together on that.
Yeah, my new is, right now the editing process is all consuming, but like I said, I'm writing a couple of short stories, thinking in terms of the next, which I believe is probably going to be a collection rather than a novel. And I'm always trying to find ways to give Jayson more to do. I need you to draw me this. Can you make me a cover? Can you do this? Can you do that? He always has something new coming from other people. In my day job, I'm a writer and editor for the News Herald, and man, every week is something new. Report on arts and culture in the area and do feature stories. It's a constant turnover. It's a constant look for the next thing.
Thank y'all so much for being your creative selves and being authentic and here today. It really is a blessing to have the two of you in the community. One more question. Where can folks find you and your art online and beyond?
JaysonKretzer.com for me, just JaysonKretzer.com. And from there, you can you can find my Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff.
I'm at TonySimmons.info, TonySimons. On Instagram, Midnight on Mars. And we also have the Panama City Syndicate Instagram, which hopefully will come back to life very shortly.
Very cool. Well, thank y'all so much for being here today. Till then, keep St. Andrews salty. So what's your 4th of July plans? Are you going on a picnic? Are you having a barbecue? This week's old news segment was published in the St. Andrews Bay News, July 3rd in 1928. I'm pleased to say that this one is about the Panama City Publishing Company celebration with the infamous Mrs. West. I hear it was a bang-up time. Hope you enjoyed this. Publishing Company staff enjoys picnic. The mechanical department of the Panama City Publishing Company staff enjoyed a most delightful picnic at Morgan's Landing near Weewahitchka on the Dead Lakes last Saturday. The occasion was the staff's celebration of the 4th of July, which, coming on Wednesday, made it unable to take that day. The members were accompanied by their families and friends. Among the party were Felix Moats and wife, Lee McConnell, and family, J.W. Griffin and family, L.B. Williams and wife, Reese Kelly, Miss Julia Gaynor, Cecil Kelly, Hubert Kelly, and Clyde Ellis. Leaving here about 6:30 o'clock Saturday morning, the group motored to the landing and joined Mrs. West, who had gone over the afternoon before to spend several days visiting Mr. and Mrs. Charles Morgan. Mrs. Morgan being remembered here as Mrs. Sarah Green, a former secretary of the publishing company. Under the guidance of Donald Morgan and Wilson Hendricks, the party spent the morning fishing on the Dead Lakes and report a very fine catch of fish. A fish, cornbread, and chicken fry at noon was possibly the most enjoyed part of the day. In the afternoon, Mrs. West put the fun into occasion by putting up cash prizes to be run for several foot races. A bucket of lard, which accidentally caught fire when mixed with a bucket of water, which was thrown in it in an attempt to extinguish the blaze, furnished the flaring, thrilling, and exciting fireworks for the occasion. Later in the afternoon, the motorcade of picnickers began the trek back to their homes here, and when they arrived, they all pronounced the day as one of the biggest times they ever had. Well, thank y'all so much for listening to episode 36 of the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing and sharing the podcast with all your salty friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. Next week, we've got Sandy Wolf, who's the creator of The Little Village, so you don't want to miss that one. Have you seen our new YouTube series? It's called The Salty Field Recordings, and it features videos showcasing several different local artists. The first 3 episodes feature Eli Ingram playing his original tunes, and there's a new episode out today. Please check it out on YouTube and subscribe so you know when all the new videos come out, and then share it with your salty friends. I hope y'all have a safe and wonderful Independence Day weekend. And in case you were wondering, the theme song was written by me and recorded by Dave Schwartz at Boundless Sounds on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. The show was recorded by me in my music room. Till next time, keep St. Andrews salty.
Red lipstick, so thick, and a push-up bra. Tramp stamp, stretch marks, and a lacy thong, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.